I'm Lynn Huber, and I appreciate you being here today. So today I'm going to talk about keeping your head up. My thoughts on crisis management during these times. So you guys have probably heard that we're dealing with this crazy COVID-19 coronavirus, right? Yeah, right, huh? It seems like everyone has their own 2 cents to chime in on this issue. People are either freaking out like the world is ending, or they're laughing at the panicked people. Or let me fix my light really quick. Sorry. Okay, so they're either freaking out about like the world is ending, or they're laughing at the panicked people and making memes about the shortage of toilet paper. And hey, some of that stuff's pretty funny, I have to admit. Right? Then some are putting on a front trying to be cruel, but really trying to be cool. Hey, I'm all that, but they're really freaking out on the inside. And then there's the official narrative, which I've also heard more times than I can count. And you know what? You can find all kinds of information about this dreaded virus on the cdc.gov website. But I've also found Facebook has a link that directs you right to all the information you need. And it really has some great information there. But it wasn't really COVID-19 that I wanted to focus on, at least not entirely. That's kind of where we're at right now. We're in this crisis. But what I'm going to talk about can be about crises for any time, right? Crises happen all the time. We go through all kinds of different crises at very different points in our life. They come in many forms. And so that's what I was hoping to cover today, to maybe help those of you that might be struggling right now. So I have 5 tips to help you deal with a crisis, whether it's something you might be facing in this situation now, today, or whether it's 10 years from now. These should help no matter what. Hi, Anitra, good to see you. So the first one, keep calm and carry on. So in crisis management, the most important thing you can do is think logically and rationally. It's so easy to get overwhelmed and freeze when everyone else is freaking out. Anyone who's taken a CPR class or is in the military or who's a police officer or whatever, they know that the reason we repeat things over and over and over again in the training is so that you don't freeze when you're in a crisis situation. If you're an emergency tech or a cop or a fireman, they pound it over and over and over and over again, so that when you're in an emergency situation, you don't have to think. You just know. Your body is like, boom, ready to go, right? Panicking doesn't help anybody. It doesn't. Having a sense of urgency does, but you have to have a clear enough headspace to think logically and start thinking and taking the steps that need to happen. So there's 3 ways that people respond in times of crisis, whether it be a hurricane or the coronavirus or an earthquake. We had another one today, or a car accident, right? There's 3 ways that people generally respond. The first one is they ignore it. So that means that they're driving down the street and they see a horrible car accident and they drive by and say, not my problem. Someone else will take care of them. So that's the first way. The second way is to process the situation and prepare or respond or do something about it, right? You'd pull over to the side of the street, check to see if everybody's okay. You'd call 911, that kind of thing, right? And number 3, panic. And really, it's really a spectrum that we need to be in the middle of it. We need to be more in the number 2, where we're processing the situation and we're responding and we're preparing. That's what we really want to do. So that's the first step, is to get in the right headspace. So number 2, toilet paper and water bottles. So we all know what's going on in the grocery store, right? The whole aisle of toilet paper, batteries, light bulbs, paper towels, it's just wiped out. There's even more than that, but for the most part, those are probably the worst beat up aisles. I think what happened was the World Health Organization said to prepare for quarantine for 14 days. Prepare yourself for 14 days. And I think people heard, prepare for the zombie apocalypse. And boom, everybody went crazy, running to the store and buying toilet paper. I don't know why you need a month's worth of toilet paper and water bottles, because COVID-19 is not a stomach virus and it's not a hurricane. Right? But people panic. And that's what happens, is when you panic, you don't necessarily, Anitra says panic gets us nowhere. It really does. It gets us nowhere. So when you're responding to a crisis, you want to be mindful of what you actually need to take care of the situation. So don't waste your time and your money and your stress on everything else. because you just need to worry about, what do I need to take care of this situation? What do I need? How do I need to respond to this? Right? It's not about how I feel. It's not about panicking. It's about getting a level head and going, okay, how can I best get through this? What do I need? And a 2-week supply of groceries and whatever else you need is a great idea. Obviously, it's a great idea. Buying stock and toilet paper isn't quite what we're looking for here. So number 3, buy low, sell high. So if you haven't heard this phrase before, it has to do with investing in the stock market. You want to buy low and sell high. That's how you make money in the stock market. What you need to know right now is probably pretty simple. When you invest your money in the stock market, you're buying part of a company or companies in the hope that their value will increase. Right now, the market is having some rough days, which means that companies are being valued way lower than they normally are. And a lot of us we don't necessarily play the stock market. Hi, Pamela, good to see you. A lot of us aren't necessarily playing the stock market, but we have our 401ks and our IRAs and our retirement accounts in stocks. And I'm not an expert on this at all. And so please don't take financial advice from me, but I'm just going to talk about my own situation and what I've learned. Of course, you'll need to talk to an expert if you're concerned about your money. But, I'm 62 years old, and I have an IRA that I rolled my 401k into when I left my job. And I am freaking out because I'm 62, I don't have a lot of years left to recover. And right now I'm watching my stock go down, 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 down. It's pretty scary. In fact, it's gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't want to look at this anymore because it's not doing me any good, right? Panic again, right? So I've done a little bit of research. I kind of, at first I was like, do I move it? Do I not move it? I know the basics, that it's not always a good idea to move it. But so I chatted with my financial advisor, and he looked at my portfolio, and like 60% of my IRA is invested in pretty safe places. And so, but the other 40 is in stocks, right? So although I'm going to lose money, I'm going to lose a lot right now. It's likely that if I leave it alone, it will bounce back better when it's over. And I won't lose everything because of that 60% that's in the safety net. So now is a horrible time to pull your money out of the market. If you sell now, everything that you've lost when the stock market's crashed and crashed and crashed in the last month, it's going to be gone, and it's going to be much harder to get back because you've sold it. So now you've lost that equity, right? And mostly that's because you'd be selling low and buying high. So in the long run, you'd be better off leaving your money where it is. Again, I'm no expert, so you want to talk to your own financial advisor if you're concerned. Pamela says, Utah has a community share group. If you have extra to share, you can post in the group. That's awesome. Yeah. I assume you're talking about supplies, right? Toilet paper and paper towels and food and whatever supplies. That's awesome. That's great. Utah's really good about pulling together that way. Number 4, have patience with one another. Everyone has a different natural response to crisis, right? We need to respect each other's emotions, our fears, our personal responses. And just because we're having to shut our doors on each other doesn't mean we have to shut our hearts to one another, right? Don't be angry at people that have allergies or colds. Don't be annoyed with people who get the virus. I have a friend in San Francisco who posted he was walking his dog and he sneezed, and somebody that it was at a stoplight, and somebody got really nasty with him. But you know what? First off, if someone has the virus, it's not their fault. And second, giving people mean looks when they sneeze instead of saying bless you, how's that going to help anybody? Being mean to somebody, God, we're all in this situation together. We're all kind of screwed right at the moment. So being mean to each other doesn't help anybody. Doesn't help you either, by the way. And sneezing isn't even a symptom of this COVID-19. But in a panicking world, turning our backs on one another is only going to make things worse. And I'm not saying that you to go hug and embrace physically, although it's killing me that I can't hug everyone. But I do think that we need to emotionally support one another. It's a tough and unprecedented time. Dual income families are having to add homeschool and childcare to their already full plates. Grocery stores have emptied shelves and checkout lines are around the building. Stock market is crashing. Business is sending workers home to quarantine themselves when they're not even sick. And in this literal pandemic, that's exactly what we're in, is a pandemic. You guys, this is the whole world. This is not just us. It's bigger than that. And so try to remember that we're all going through this together. And so, yes, it's scary, but because we're all going through it together, we're going to get through it together. But we need to be supporting each other right now. We just need to be better at supporting each other. Number 5, prioritize your joy. So once you figured out your initial response, thought logically about what you need, figured out this crisis financially, and checked that you're being respectful to others, now you need to find a way to shift your mindset from calm and composed to positive and grateful. So in a world that's driven by fear, you want to find peace and share it with others. You want to live in gratitude all the time, not just in crisis times, but also in daily life all the time, right? You want to live in gratitude. I've seen people create a happiness is post on Facebook every day. You know, a lot of people are posting positive things, and they're even making jokes about the coronavirus, and some of them are pretty funny, and so they make you feel better, right? Just come from a place of positive, though, and come from gratitude. You know, some people write in a gratitude journal every morning before they start their day, or every evening before they go to bed. These practices work because they force you to actively search for things that bring you happiness or gratitude. You have to actually look for them in order to know, I'm going to be writing it in my journal tonight. I need to find something that I'm grateful for, and you're looking for it. And if you're actively searching for it, you're going to start noticing it more often, right? Every day is what you make it, and you make time for what matters. You can choose to spend your time getting caught up in everyone else's negativity, or you can choose to get caught up in moments of joy. Notice the small things. Acknowledge the big anxieties and then release them, right? They are what they are. If we can't do anything about it, then don't dwell on it. If you can do something, then do it. But if you can't, let it go, right? Be mindful of who and what you're following on social media. You know, if something or someone's constantly dragging you down or generating negative energy for you, you don't have to have that in your life. You can take a break from that. You actually on Facebook can pause. I think it's called pause, where you don't have to see them for 30 days or something, rather than unfriending them. But you know, you have control over what kind of content you're consuming. Make sure it's lifting you up and serving you in a positive way, especially in times of crisis like now, but also always. You need to prioritize your joy and surround yourself with whatever points of positivity you can find, right? Keep your head up. Know that things are going to get worse before they're going to get better. It's true, they are. But also know that you're in control of how you view and respond to this situation. Know that you decide what content you consume and what company you keep. You're in charge of the lens that you view the world through. You get to decide how you're going to see this. You get to decide how you're going to react, right? You're in charge of recognizing and highlighting the positive moments in each day. So you got this. Together, we will get through this. As people, we're resilient. All of us, as humans, we're resilient. So just hang in there, because things are going to be better on the other side. I think Pamela, she's saying, Anitra, that's a very good idea. Yeah, and Anitra says, do it all the time. Awesome, you guys. Thanks for being here with me today. So now I'd love to hear from everybody else. You know, excuse me, what kinds of things do you do to help keep your head clear when you're dealing with a crisis? What kinds of things are helping you right now to get through this? We all are up in the air. We're all and that's the hardest part, is the not knowing, right? Not knowing how long this is going to last. So what kinds of things are helping you right now? Anyway, please share in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for being here today. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.